The trillion-dollar vote-buying scheme that is Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness is in full swing, with the Washington Free Beacon recently reporting on the Democrat Florida Senate candidate who wants her tens of thousands of student loans covered by taxpayers despite her owning a $3 million house in Miami. The background here is that the $2 trillion in student loans is one of the biggest assets of the federal government, meaning one of the biggest assets owned by taxpayers, who are otherwise on the hook for roughly $33 trillion in federal debt. 3 months after the Supreme Court struck down Biden's student loan handout, saying it's unconstitutional and therefore illegal, at which point Biden's army of lawyers got to work finding any loophole they could to, apparently illegally, forgive as much as they can. So far, Axios says they have handed out, forgiven, $127 billion, with much more to come. Keep in mind this is on top of the roughly $350 billion in loan deferral they got from pandemic-era loan pauses. It's worth noting that the pandemic didn't actually have anything to do with student loans, but never let a good crisis go to waste. Now, this trillion-dollar theft of taxpayer assets bothers some people since college grads earn a lot more than the median taxpayer who is currently being robbed. In fact, starting salaries for college grads is higher than the median American family, while average income comes in 30% higher for people with college degrees than the taxpayers who they are taking money from. For people with doctorates, who are the biggest beneficiaries of taxpayer handouts, their income is nearly double these suckers who are now paying off their student loans. Our system is fond of giving free money to rich people, ask the Federal Reserve or the Senate, but it is usually done with a bit more subtlety. Of course, that's just the start, because the loans were already deeply subsidized even before they were forgiven. Between 2006 and 2013, the interest rate on student loans was less than half what it was for regular consumer loans. Toss in automatic deferments until well after graduation, and it means almost 2/3 of a student loan is already pre-forgiven through sweetheart interest rates, courtesy of the low-income suckers who pay for it. Of course, millions of those loans are, beyond that, forgiven right out the door. If you work for the government or its alliance of nonprofits, you don't have to pay your loans. The deep state does take care of its own. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. What's next is the Biden administration will continue draining the Treasury to buy any vote in sight, selling off the national wealth from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is down a half, that was in order to buy the last election, $2 trillion in student loans to buy the next election. Loans which, rightly, belong to the struggling taxpayers who spend trillions of dollars for decades building it all up. This administration knows who it serves, the activists and lobbyists who magicked it into the White House. They'll keep taking everything they can from anybody they can to keep that going. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.